That wasn't that hard. How are you? How are you?
I'm good now. Okay. 12 years ago, while I was away for work, I went out with a group of friends, and we had a lot of, some drinks, and we were partying and all that kind of stuff, just having a great time, and then bang, I don't remember anything. What I do remember is when everything became real. Is when I woke up, and there was 2 men lying next to me, and there was blood, and there was bruises, and there was pure, raw, and pain. I managed to find my way back to my hotel room. I really don't know how I did that. But I'm so glad I don't have any recollection of what had happened. So the doctor comes in, and he sits behind his desk, and he reads out a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. I didn't have a clue what it was. I didn't even know how to properly pronounce it, let alone know what it was. And believe it or not, I still don't know how to spell it. I asked him point blank, I said, so what's going to happen to me? He came around his desk and he held my hand and he said, my dear, he said, you will eventually end up in a wheelchair. Probably you won't be able to even feed yourself. I was 24. I was a new bride. I had a beautiful baby daughter at home. She was only 5 months old.
And I've had a hard year. A couple of things have happened. Tomorrow will be 11 months I lost my wife. There's just been, and things that follow that, when you're trying to move ahead. And I'm a people pleaser. I like to please people. That's what I do. And my own character sometimes gets put aside because I want to please everyone else. I want to make sure everybody else is okay and make sure that things work out for other people. It doesn't matter what the outcome is for me.
When I was 17, I quit school. And I left the little island that I was raised on, Bow Island. And I had $136 in my pocket, and I went to Toronto. And I didn't have anybody meet me at the airport because I didn't know quite where I was going. So when I got to the airport, I'd never flown before, and I'd never been out of Newfoundland. And the taxi ride to where I was staying cost me $50, which cut into my $136 really fast. I was invited to stay with my cousin and 7 other guys, so it was very cozy. And I slept on the couch, and they were kind enough to give me a heads up about little black bugs that were the size of my toes. And when I was sleeping on the couch, they said, if you have to get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, don't be afraid. Well, there wasn't one of them, or 2. There were hundreds of them.
Basically went through 9 months, and little girl arrived in March of 2010, and things were pretty good. However, her delivery was not as I had planned. And if anyone who knows me knows that I am a staunch planner, little on the OCD side, not a bad thing, but I kind of like things done a certain way, and basically her delivery did not fit that bill at all. And she was, apple don't fall far from the tree. She was fashionably late, to say the least. And her delivery caused some complications, and basically, long story short, she was a C-section on emergency level, not anything I had planned or anticipated. So, in my mind at the time, it was perfectly reasonable. I felt that I had failed.
And this is joy that you can have for a mere, 85 cents. And it's my favorite treat, and it is, of course, the vanilla dip. And when I'm training hard to climb mountains and I'm working physically hard, this is what I look forward to having. It is almost a religious experience for me. We're talking about that sort of crunch when you first bite it, and then that sweet bit of icing, and then the soft, cakey bit of the bread if you get one when it's fresh. And then, of course, I always have it with a large tea with a vanilla dip. They go together because then you can have the bitter of the tea, and then the sweet and the crunch, and back and forth, and back and forth until the thing ends way too soon.
question, I did not want to become a teacher. I was not going to be. My mom was a teacher, my dad was a teacher, their friends were all teachers, I'd heard all the teacher jokes, I wasn't going to do that. And one of their friends, teachers, had built a stage, a theatrical stage in one of their barns. They were all hippies, my parents and their friends. And complete with curtains backstage. And so when the parents would get together for their cocktails, all of us kids would scurry out to the barn and we'd put these productions together. And sometimes it'd be one night, and sometimes Alice in Wonderland might take a month, but we'd invite them all out for our show, and they were a fantastic audience. Why? They loved us. And they were at least 2 martinis in at this point, so they were perfect. They laughed at everything, they standing ovations, and I fell in love with the stage. I know it doesn't show, but I fell in love with acting.